Hi there, join me in this video for a photo tour of the beautiful, picturesque Whitby. We're away on holiday this week, so this is not going to be my normal style of video. We're in Whitby, which is in North Yorkshire. Now it's famous for its maritime history, its abbey up there on the hill, which I'll talk about later in the video. So what I thought I'd do is a photo tour and give you some information about this place. But I know today that I'm really going to enjoy my photography. Whitby has very close connections with the novel Dracula and Bram Stoker in particular, because while Bram Stoker was writing the novel, he stayed here at number 6, the Crescent. The novel Dracula takes its atmosphere from Whitby's Gothic feel, and it also includes a lot of the landmarks from Whitby, including the churchyard up on the hill there and the abbey, and down here is Whitby Sands, where the ship crashed that was carrying Dracula's coffin. If you're interested in finding out more about the story of Dracula, there's even a museum. Sadly, in 1914, Whitby was bombed during World War I, and it resulted in the fatalities of 137 people and 592 people were injured. During the attack, many houses were damaged, including the abbey itself, but this memorial here has been put up to remember those people. The famous Captain Cook was born not very far away from here in a place called Marton, and he began his maritime career in the Whitby whaling fleet. Captain Cook has his statue here looking out to sea, and he's famous for his voyages charting Australia and New Zealand, and he's also the first man to sail completely around the world. Here's a classic view of Whitby with a whalebone arch looking through to the abbey. To the Whitby whaling fleet, which was active from 1750 to 1840, and at its peak had 50 whaling boats. This road behind me here is called the Khyber Pass, and it was built by George Hudson to allow the horse and carriages to get up this hill onto the West Cliff. Here is a really good photographic opportunity. There's a tunnel off the Khyber Pass called the Keyhole that looks out over the opposite cliff, and it frames the abbey and the church opposite perfectly. Whitby has 2 stone piers which date back to the 1870s and form the mouth of the harbour. Now, not only do they contain some interesting fixtures, but also 2 lighthouses which create some really good photographic opportunities. There are also 2 pier extensions, and this one is very well photographed because there's a curve that leads round to the lighthouse at the end, and curves provide good leading lines which are great in photography. This area here is known as the gun battery. Now, it contained 8 guns and a magazine with a further 6 guns at the head of the pier, but they were dismantled after the Napoleonic War. Now all that remains is this gun, but this is not actually one of the originals. This gun was salvaged from a shipwreck. Whitby is famous for its many fish and chip shops. One of our favourite is a Magpie Cafe, which uses only fresh fish sourced from the fish market just over the road. Because the town lies on 2 sides of the River Esk, the bridge here is vital. Now, there are written records dating back to 1327 of a bridge existing here. The current one was opened in 1908 and will swivel to open up to let larger ships go through. This is Whitby Museum and Art Gallery set in Panic Park, and it holds the only known Hand of Glory. Now, the Hand of Glory, according to the story, is said to have been used by burglars to incapacitate their unsuspecting victims. It was made by taking the hand of a dead hanged man, drying it out with special ingredients and using it to hold a candle. When they went into a house, all of the occupants would fall into a restless sleep and be unable to move, if you believe that kind of thing. This street behind me is known as Great Plain. Now, I did come across an interesting fact while I was doing my research. In the past it was known as Groat Plain because it was used for prostitution, but the changing attitudes of the 18th and 19th century forced the street to be renamed. This lovely building here behind me is Whitby Seamen's Hospital Houses, and it houses 20 apartments for retired seamen. This building here dates back to medieval times, and as a blue plaque here tells us, it was erected in 1390, just one of the many hidden gems in Whitby. This street here is known as Church Street. It's a lovely cobbled street lined with quaint shops. Now at the moment it's quiet because it's only 7 o'clock in the morning, but later on this street will be absolutely rammed with tourists. Behind me is the town hall. Now this was originally built in 1640, not the one that's currently there. That was built in 1788 by Nathaniel Cholmondeley, and now it was also designed by the same designer who designed Whitby's twin piers. I'm currently standing on Tatel Pier, which is allegedly one of the oldest piers in the world. Now when it was built way back in the day, it was just a collection of rocks and a wooden frame, not the stone structure we see today. This beach here is known as Tatel Sands. It was very much busier yesterday afternoon with the holiday makers out on the sand, but this is the location where the Dimitri, the ship in the novel Dracula, came ashore. At the moment I'm stood on Whitby's East Pier, and just here you can see the new bridge that's recently been added to allow people to access the pier extension on the east side. The first time in a long while that people have been able to do that. One fun activity when in Whitby is fossil hunting. These cliffs here contain many fossils, including ammonites, and I found quite a few. The other day wasn't so great because the tide was in, but I still found a few examples. Now this is not the most spectacular find that I've ever found on the beach, but just in here there is a fossil. It's just lying around all over the place. I've stood at the foot of Whitby's famous 199 steps. There are definitely 199, but many times when I've tried to count them, I always get it slightly wrong. The 199 steps lead up to St Mary's Church, which is at the top of this cliff. Now many people would be mistaken for thinking that this is a bench put here to help people to get their breath back when they're climbing up the steps. Now they're sort of right, but they're actually for a slightly different purpose. They're here to allow coffin bearers to place the coffin on to allow them a little bit of a rest before carrying the coffin up to the church. At the top of the 199 steps is St Mary's Church, and it dates back to the Norman times. Now it's closed at the moment because it's only 7:30 in the morning, but we did go in the other day and I've got some shots from then. Now in the graveyard there's two interesting gravestones. Just down here between these two large gravestones is a small one, and it's said to be the gravestone of Tom Thumb. And over here there's a circular gravestone which is said to be the gravestone of Humpty Dumpty. Now in reality they're probably just gravestones of children. Behind me here are the remains of Whitby Abbey. There's been an abbey on this site since 657 CE. Now this is not the original abbey, this has been built at a later date and then was dissolved by Henry VIII in the medieval times and then fell into disrepair. Whitby Abbey is not only important to the local area, but at a synod that was held here in 664 CE, it was decided not only that the local churches would adopt the Roman calendar, but also it was decided how we determine the date of Easter. So I'll leave you with a few of my favourite photographs that I've taken from Whitby and the surrounding area. I hope you've enjoyed my tour of Whitby. It's a lovely place to visit and photograph. And for my regular viewers, it's worth remembering that even though I normally take pictures of landscapes and birds, photography has got many different facets and it's good to try something different. If you've enjoyed this video, let me know down below in the comments or nip over to my Instagram, that's @theoakdenphotography. There you can leave me your comments, but you can also see lots of my pictures. Now you can really help support the channel by clicking like, subscribe and the bell notifications. That way you'll stay up to date with all of my future releases and it really helps the channel. Watch out for next week's video, that goes live at 4 o'clock on Sunday, but all that's left now from beautiful Whitby is to say stay safe and I'll see you soon. 520. The Whitby photo that makes some good photographic opportunities. Form the mouth of the harbour. Now, drying up. They're all. Behind me here are the remains of Whitby Ham. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my